Manga Waido.
My name is Satoshi Nakamura, a professional watch technician. I'm the third-generation owner of the Nakamura Watch Shop, a store located in a corner of this shopping district. I'm not trying to be cocky, but I could say I'm pretty talented in my watch repair skills. That's why I don't just get customers in this region, but have people from far away, even customers from other countries, requesting my services. Because the use of cell phones increased, it seems that watches have become less popular. Still, my business was doing decently. One afternoon, a customer ran into my shop out of breath.
Sir, please fix this watch!
I was shocked. That customer, I think his name was Jun Miura. He was a popular troublemaker in the neighborhood. Jun placed the watch he was holding with his bare hands on top of the counter. The watch was old, but it was an expensive brand imported from abroad. The watch belt was stained from oily hands. There was a huge crack in the glass and, of course, the watch hands were permanently stopped. Why does this child own an expensive watch like this? It's probably something he stole. Jun made his name popular around the neighborhood with a large physique for a third grader and a terrible attitude. He would damage public items for fun and stay out late with troublemaking friends who were older than him. There were even rumors that he was stealing from stores in this shopping district.
Wow, this is huge!
This mysterious watch was most likely something he stole as well. After thinking it over, I looked into Jun's eyes. Based on what I see here, this watch needs a lot of work. It's going to be expensive. Do you have the money to pay for it?
Of course I do! Don't make fun of me! I'm leaving the watch with you, okay?
After Jun says that, he left. The next day, Jun walked into the store carrying a cardboard box to his chest.
This is my entire fortune.
As prompted, I looked into the box and couldn't help but let out a laugh. The box contained all of his toys. No matter how he behaved, it seemed like he was just a kid after all. Nonetheless, all the toys seemed extremely old. A bamboo propeller toy that seemed to be homemade, pogs, a tin vehicle, marbles. Jun must have sensed something was wrong as he watched me furrow my brow. He hurriedly searched his pockets.
I also have some change. $7.27. Why are you making a face like that?
I'm a professional. I didn't say the price for my services doesn't matter if you gave me everything you own. Plus, I peeked into the cardboard box once again. You sure you're okay with giving up this box of toys? Aren't you going to regret it? For a child in this generation, the toys seemed kind of old. I've also never seen Jun play with these kinds of toys. I should have told him to leave right away, but I felt like these toys were also things that were stolen from other people. Jun looked down in serious contemplation. After a while, he looked up at me with a straight face.
All of these things mean a lot to me, but it's okay. As long as you can fix Grandpa's watch. Please, sir.
Unlike his usual troublemaking self, Jun pleaded politely and bowed his head to me. His grandfather's watch. So it wasn't stolen after all. Well, okay then. Let's make a deal. After school, Jun, you're going to help out at this store.
Me? Help out here?
From the next day, Jun came over to the store after school. He swept the entrance of the store with a broom, took out the trash, dusted the merchandise. I was making him do simple chores at first, but as this continued for 4 or 5 days, I started to change my perspective on him. I had only heard bad rumors about this kid, but I was starting to think that he was a good kid with guts. After you're finished demagnetizing, remove the backing. Yes, just like that. How does the inside look?
Whoa! There's something like clay stuck to it.
That's all old dust. After you remove that, place the backing back onto the watch. We're going to clean the watch belt next. Just like I was teaching an apprentice, I let Jun practice repairing watches one day. Jun put on monoculars and silently focused on his work. As I watched him, I thought of how different he seemed from the way he normally behaved. On another day, we had a conversation about Jun's family for some reason. Just as I had heard from the rumors, he came from a poor family and was raised by a single mother.
My mom's all, my work this, my work that, every single day, and never takes care of me. She just doesn't care about me.
I don't think that's true. She's working every single day, even if it's tough, just so that she can raise and take care of you.
Not sure about that. Anyway, Mom was always working like that. so Gramps spends a lot of time with me.
But he passed away and left me too, June said in a quiet voice as he looked down sadly. About a month after, June started helping out at the shop. The imported watch's repair was starting to look complete. You did great. I'm going to do the finishing repairs. When I'm done, I'll call you on the phone, so just wait patiently until then.
Okay.
The next day, I called June's house. His mother picked up the phone. I'm calling to inform you that the imported watch that your son brought in has been repaired.
Watch? For repairs? June did what?
Apparently, his mother doesn't know anything about it. The next day, June came to the store with his mother. His mother was only in her 30s, still very young. Still, she must have been exhausted from work because she looked skinny and old for her age. Here is the repaired watch. It's just like new. And here is the bill.
This expensive? I can't pay for this.
His mother went pale, and I tried to calm her down with a smile. I understand that. Could you please wait a moment? Hey, June.
Huh? Yeah?
I called June behind the counter. Thanks for working for me this past month. You were a bunch of help. This is your paycheck. Don't forget to bring home your cardboard box too. June received the brown envelope, and his eyes started shining. After giving me a quick bow, he ran back to the front of the counter and took out the $100 bill from the envelope.
It's okay, Mom. I'm going to pay for the repairs.
Her mother was glad that she didn't have to pay the bill, and surprised with how much her son had grown. I spoke to her about how well June has worked with me over the past months. When I told her that her son was the one that cleaned the watch belt, replaced the glass, and did all the other simple repairing tasks, there were tears in her eyes.
June did this? June, you're the one that cleaned and repaired my father's watch?
Next to his mother, June looked away while blushing. June was willing to let go of memorable toys that he had played with his grandfather just to repair the watch. When her mother heard this news, huge teardrops fell down her cheeks.
My mother is actually in the hospital at the moment. I think he wanted to have this repaired before.
Before it was his time to say goodbye, June probably wanted to repair the watch that meant a lot to his grandfather to show it to her, as a final gift for his dying grandmother. A couple of days later, I was able to hear about what happened after. When June gave his grandmother his grandfather's watch, she cried with happiness.
Gosh, it's like he's back. The love of my life is back.
Apparently, she passed on quietly after that. After the incident with the watch, I stopped hearing rumors about June's troublemaking. The Nakamura watch repair owner probably trained him and put the troublemaker in his place, says everyone in the shopping district. To that, I tell them that they're wrong. June always had potential from the start. He made the change to be a better person all on his own. One day, I saw him playing in the park with his friend.
It won't move. I think my game is broken. Let me see. Oh, leave it to me. I can fix this easily.
As I watched the young boy speak confidently from afar, I'm excited for his future, I thought. My name is Masato Yamazaki, and I'm a business worker. I married my wife Misaki about 2 years ago. She's currently pregnant with our child, but in the middle of her pregnancy, she almost had a miscarriage. For that reason, the doctors recommended that she should be hospitalized at a hospital close by as her due date approached. Misaki strongly wanted me to be in the room when she gave birth. Of course, I wanted to be there for the emotional moment as well, and was waiting excitedly. And finally, Misaki's contractions had slowly started yesterday. When I got the notification, I visited the hospital early in the morning.
There's still a lot of time between my contractions, so I was told that the birth might be late in the night. I'll be okay. You should go to work so you can hand your coworkers your paperwork and come back around lunchtime.
That's what Misaki said, and so I asked the midwife as well, but
It should still take a lot of time.
the midwife agreed, so I decided to clock into work for the morning and left the hospital. I usually used both the train and bus to get to work. When I got off the train at the station closest to my workplace, I checked the time for the next bus and found out that there was still a lot of time until the next bus. It's a waste of time to wait here, so maybe I should take the taxi today. I thought that and walked to the exit when, in the corner of the platform, I saw a woman leaning against the wall. I could see that her stomach was sticking out even from afar, and I could also see that she didn't look very well. I was immediately reminded of when Misaki almost had a miscarriage, so I moved closer to speak to the woman. Are you okay?
Yes, I just don't feel well because of my morning sickness. I think I'll be okay if I rest for a little bit.
The woman was sitting down and leaning against the wall. She didn't look very well, but she was able to answer my question.
I was on my way to the general hospital for a checkup, but I started to feel sick on the way.
There were a lot of people on the train, so it must have put her under a lot of stress.
I was thinking about using a taxi from here. Oh, but it hurts to move.
I understand. I was on my way to find a taxi as well, so I'll go with you.
Thank you.
I helped the struggling lady stand up, and we walked towards the taxi area. After leaving the station and walking towards the traffic circle, I sat the lady down on the bench so that I could call a taxi. Please wait here. The station is close to the general hospital, so there should be a lot of taxis that can take you there. I'm going to stand in line, and I'll call you when I find a ride.
Thank you so much. I just moved here with my husband for his job. I don't really know anyone that lives close by, so I was feeling very anxious.
Don't worry about it. I see. My wife is currently pregnant, so I couldn't pretend like I didn't see anything and walk away.
Thank you.
In the middle of our conversation, the woman suddenly laid down on the bench and passed out. Huh? Excuse me, are you okay? Ambulance! I need an ambulance! Because I had raised my voice, the people around us seemed to notice the lady and helped us call an ambulance. When the ambulance arrived, the medics asked me which hospital the woman usually went to. So, I told them the hospital that the lady mentioned she was going to get a checkup at. That was the hospital where my wife was also staying. I'll call my work later. I have to go to the hospital now. The lady was grabbing onto my shirt sleeve and muttering a man's, probably her husband's name. I couldn't shake off her hand. You're okay. You're going to be okay. I grabbed onto her hand for support and rode the ambulance with the woman to the hospital. I supported the woman until we got to the hospital, so the emergency nurses all mistook me as her husband.
Sir, please wait here.
And so, I was taken to the waiting room. A while later, the doctor that came to the waiting room was an obstetrician that I had met before.
Sir, aren't you Yamazaki-san's husband? Why are you here?
I told the doctor all about how I had stumbled upon the pregnant lady and helped her get to the hospital.
I see. Thank you so much for your help.
Of course. I'll leave the rest to you. The doctor then walked out of the room. I thought, thank goodness, and sighed with relief. I can go see Misaki now. I took out my phone to contact my workplace when I saw a bunch of missed calls and notifications. Could it be? Did something happen to Misaki? Frantically, I called her back but got no answer. Turning pale, I rushed to her hospital room, but she was nowhere to be seen. I was at a shock for words. When I looked around the hallway, one of the nurses came up to me.
Yamazaki-san, your child was born healthy. Your wife gave birth after you left.
What? You're kidding. But I heard that even at the earliest, it would take until nighttime.
We can't predict when exactly a birth happens. Anyways, congratulations, sir.
Apparently, her contractions had increased while I was on the train. I was relieved that Misaki was able to give birth safely, but I couldn't watch her give birth to my child. I was waiting in the room in shock when Misaki, who had just finished giving birth, was wheeled into the room on a wheelchair. The first words that came out of her mouth were,
Why didn't you come?
I'm sorry, but I heard our child was born safely and that's amazing.
What do you mean, amazing? I want a divorce! A divorce!
There was a reason why I couldn't.
I don't want to hear your excuses! It was a safe birth, but I was going through a lot. You promised you'd be there with me. Just go home. I don't want to see your face anymore.
Misaki wouldn't listen to what I had to say, so I walked out of the hospital while sulking. She wants a divorce. I do understand why she'd be so upset. I also have to call my work. Why did this happen? I held my head in my hands and sat on the bench at the park in front of the hospital. I lost track of how much time had passed. I only noticed when the sun finally started to set. There was someone I recognized walking towards me. It was my wife's father. Father. Masato-kun, I finally found you. You... Was he going to talk about the divorce? Or was he going to lecture me about what happened right here? I prepared myself for the attack. Instead, the words that came out of Misaki's father's mouth were different from what I had imagined. I heard what happened. I'm so proud that you're my daughter's husband. No, just in general. I think you're a wonderful man. What? I didn't understand at first, but I understood everything after her father started explaining. A while after I had left Misaki's hospital room, the obstetrician that was with the pregnant woman had come to check up on Misaki after her labor. My wife was still angry. She was saying things like,
It's awful that he wasn't there for me, right?
Understanding the situation, the doctor explained that, thanks to me, a pregnant woman was saved and a healthy child was born. In addition, the family of the pregnant woman even came over to thank my wife for what I did. Just like that, while I was sulking in the park in front of the hospital, the problem solved itself. I went back to my wife's hospital room with her father.
I was upset that I couldn't get in contact with you. I'm sorry for what I said earlier.
It's fine. No matter the reason, I'm so sorry that I couldn't be there for you too. After we apologized to each other, I pushed my wife's wheelchair, and together, we went to see our child. I had no words. I was filled with immense happiness. Eventually, my wife and the lady I had saved that day became friends. Her husband and I even went out to get drinks sometimes. Our children were both boys, and I was happy to see that the two of them got along as well. If I had ignored the struggling lady that day and prioritized going to work, things wouldn't have been the same as they are now. I wasn't able to watch my son's birth, but I believe that the decisions I made that day were right. I was able to save another life after all. That's what I strongly believe now.
I'm Shizuka. I'm a freshman in college. These are my friends, Yuki and Maho. We had some classes together. Turns out we were all from the same city. So you know that mall on 8th? Yeah, remember that really cute guy that used to work at the burger joint? Yeah, my friend had a major crush on him. She dragged me there all the time. But Yuki and I did most of the talking. Maho wasn't the talkative type. She never said much. Yuki and I liked talking about new makeup and clothes. You know, normal girl stuff. But Maho wasn't interested in any of that. She never wore makeup and she was always wearing these baggy clothes. At a glance, she kinda looked like a nerd, but we didn't really care. She was nice and smart. She always helped me out with schoolwork. But then, something happened. We all joined this volunteer club. Then this kid named Ryuma joined after us. He was so handsome. All the girls went crazy over him, especially Yuki. Apparently, he looked like an actor she liked, but...
Mao, I know that squid character. It's from that video game, right? You play video games?
Yeah, that's what I usually do on weekends.
That's cool. Wanna play together? I'll bring it on Monday.
Ryuma seemed to like Maho. It wasn't like he was hitting on her. He probably just wanted to be friends, but Yuki didn't like this.
You hung out with him today? You know I like him, right? What's wrong with you?
I'm sorry, but he let me use his video game and I couldn't say no.
That's your problem. Just say no from now on, okay? He's mine. Stay away from him.
And so things got pretty awkward between them. But things got worse from there. Yuki started doing mean things to her. She spread false rumors about her. And whenever we ran into her on the train, she moved to a different cart. Maho didn't talk a lot about her feelings, but I could tell that she was upset by all of this. I told her to stop many times, but she didn't listen. And this one time, she snapped at me for taking Maho's side.
What the?
Then one day, when we were cleaning the campus, she sprayed her down with a hose. I got wet too, but it wasn't that bad. But Maho was soaked from top to bottom.
Yuki, what was that for? You did that on purpose.
What? No, it was an accident. Here, let me help. Let's get you cleaned up. Stop. But then, when she saw her face, she froze up. Huh? And so did everyone else, including me. Why? Well, because Maho was really pretty.
Wait, what? What about your eyebrows and your freckles? Those were all fake? Stop looking at me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
She never cried like this. We didn't know what to do. We took her to a quiet place and asked her what was going on. Slowly, she started talking. My sister. Well, my stepsister, actually. She hated the way I looked and she told me to disguise myself with makeup. That's why I started wearing those glasses and stuff. So here's the gist of it. Her dad got remarried when she was in high school, but her stepsister was pretty mean. Maho was prettier than her, so she told her to disguise herself with makeup. She went to the same college, so she didn't want others to see how pretty she was. So she started wearing makeup to hide her pretty face.
What? You're lying. There's no way that.
What the hell? I told you not to come to school like that. You thought I wouldn't notice? Get out of here, now.
Speak of the devil. Her stepsister showed up and started yelling at Maho. I actually knew her. She was a troublemaker. This is Maho's stepsister? I had no idea. Yuki looked terrified. Maho just looked down and apologized. Her sister grabbed some dirt off of the floor and threw it at her. Then she left. Maho was covered in dirt. This is terrible. But then, things got even worse. Maho's sister found out that it was Yuki who started all of this. Someone from the club must have told her or something. After that, she started harassing Yuki. I had no idea, Maho. I'm so sorry about everything.
It's okay. And Yuki, I'm so sorry. I know she's been coming after you too. I can't take this anymore.
But what can we do? How can we stop her? Then one of her friends showed us this video. It was Maho's sister. She was bullying one of the students. It looked like she was forcing her to give her money. He said the girl was his friend, so he filmed it from a distance. This is it! We decided to make a move. We wanted more evidence, so we followed her. Looks like she was doing this to everyone. A few days later, we had more than enough evidence. Then,
This is your fault. You told on me. Do something, Maho, you ugly bitch.
Maho's sister got expelled. The chairman of the school conducted a full investigation. Turns out she was doing this to a lot of people. And this one victim had lost thousands of dollars to her.
My parents are getting divorced again. I won't have to see her again.
That's great news, Maho.
It's all thanks to you guys.
What? No, we didn't do anything. Maho, I'm so sorry. I was so mean to you. I'm truly sorry. I know it doesn't make it right, but...
No worries, Yuki. I forgive you.
Maho! And so we were all back to being friends again. Maho stopped wearing that stupid makeup after that. Glad everything worked out. I'm Shizuka Minakata. I'm a college student. I work at this grocery store near my apartment. I work both day and night shifts. I've been working here for a year now. I was in charge of training new employees.
Shizuku, this is Mr. Takeda. Look after him, will you?
Hello. I'll be working the day shift. Nice to meet you.
Mr. Takeda was a man in his 30s. I was much younger than him, but he was very polite. He was very diligent. He'd made mistakes from time to time, but he never made the same mistake twice. You're a quick learner. Did you used to work at a different branch or something?
No, this is my first time.
What did you do before this?
Oh, this and that.
He wasn't the chatty type, I guess. One night, we got a complaint from one of the customers. Apparently, there were some delinquents hanging out in front of the store. The manager told him to get lost, and they left without causing trouble. But a few days later, they came back with more people. A few months later, they were there almost every night. There were a lot of them. They started ignoring the manager. Then they started causing trouble inside the store.
I don't want this.
Okay. Could you put it back then?
What? That's your job.
Sir, please lower your voice.
Screw you. I'm the customer here. I can do whatever I want.
They didn't listen to any of us. We were really scared of them. And there was nothing we could do. But I was scared, but I couldn't just sell them alcohol. I'm sorry, but can I see some ID?
You saying I look like a kid?
Well, yeah.
What did you say? You sure you want to play it like this?
But
Fine. Just wait here.
he came back with a really big guy.
He's the Ruthless Dragon. You've heard of him, right? He knocked out 10 Yakuza members. Even the cops are afraid of him.
You don't want to do this. Just do as I say.
I'm scared. I didn't know what to do. But then I saw a bunch of cops outside the store. They were talking to a drunk stumbling on the streets.
Forget it. Let's go.
Phew, The next day, Mr. Takeda joined me for the night shift. He worked at a factory at night, but his shift got canceled apparently. Oh, that's too bad.
It feels so different here at night. It's so quiet, and everyone's so tense.
Well, the thing is, I told him what happened the day before.
I see. Delinquents, huh?
Yeah, they brought this guy called the Ruthless Dragon yesterday.
Ruthless Dragon?
Yeah, he had all these tattoos and...
That sounds scary.
Then we heard people yelling at the register. Those delinquents were back.
There you are. Hey, you, come here.
Me?
Yeah, apologize to us.
Give us some booze and we'll call it even.
Hurry up.
You need to pay for that. I can't just give you stuff for free.
You talking back to me now? You think I won't hurt you because you're a girl?
Yeah.
Just give it up. You don't want to mess with us.
They smirked at me. I didn't know what to do. I guess I gotta call the cops, but then...
Sir, please lower your voice.
What did you say?
I said, please lower your voice.
You want to get hurt, buddy?
No thanks. But I did call the cops. They're on their way.
The big guy glared at him.
Is that so? I'm gonna remember you. Better watch your back.
Then they left. I fell to the ground.
You okay?
Yeah, thank you. You were really brave back there.
No, it was nothing. I was scared too. Well, they're gone now, so why don't you take a break? I'll cover it for you.
I was shook up. I decided to rest for a bit. We finished our shifts at 2 a.m. that day. I was exhausted. Mr. Takeda was waiting for me at the entrance. What's the matter?
I'll walk you home. They might still be around.
Oh, I live nearby, so I thought I'd be fine, but... He was right. They were waiting for us.
Hello there. You think you're pretty slick, huh? Well, think again. First, get down on the floor and apologize.
Just let us go, please.
What? You know who I am? I'm the Ruthless Dragon.
Dragon? What dragon?
You little shit. Look at this.
I've never seen a tattoo like that. I was so scared. But Mr. Takeda walked up to him and said,
What is that? Is that a loach? Or is it an eel?
What?
Look here. Hold on. There we go.
He was acting all weird. He grabbed his shirt, then...
You call that a tattoo?
This is a tattoo.
He took off his shirt. I gasped. His entire upper body was covered in ink.
What? Wait, are you the real?
Huh? Damn straight. I'm the real Ruthless Dragon. Well, I used to be. I quit doing that years ago. But thanks to you, my cover's blown.
I'm so sorry.
You think you're just gonna get away with this? Think again. Got any last words?
Please, forgive us.
Please! Never show your face in front of me again. Get lost.
They ran off.
Oh no, I've done it now.
He seemed really upset about this. Turns out he used to be a Yakuza back in the days. They used to call him the Ruthless Dragon. But he wanted a fresh start with his girlfriend, so he quit being a Yakuza and got a normal job years ago.
I'm sorry. It's okay if you have to fire me.
Oh, the manager doesn't have to know about this. You saved me.
You sure?
Of course! You saved my life just now. And that was really impressive.
Thank you.
So things went back to normal. Mr. Takeda was great at his job. A few years later, he became a full-time employee. And I also got used to dealing with delinquents. We still get a lot of weird customers during the night shift, but nothing scares me anymore. If anything happens, I can just ask the Ruthless Dragon to help, so...
I'm Sho Murayama. I'm 42. I work for a company that makes store signs. I play baseball in my free time. I've been playing ever since elementary school. I'm also the coach of my son's baseball team. I lived near the school. I bought the place a few years ago. It was a nice neighborhood. But one day, something happened. During lunch, I sometimes go home to eat lunch, so I was driving home around noon. But then...
Oh, what the?
Someone parked their car right in my driveway. It was a red minivan. I didn't know anyone who drove a red minivan. I looked inside. I couldn't find any clues. During the weekdays, my wife uses the family car for work, so the driveway is empty. Our house was on the corner of the street, so it was pretty easy to park. But who just parks their car on someone else's driveway like that? I called my wife and asked her if she knew anything about it. She said she had no idea. I had a pretty short temper, so I called the cops right away. Hello, someone parked in my driveway without my permission.
I'm sorry, sir, but you'll have to talk to the driver yourself.
The police wasn't gonna help. I had to get back to work, so I wrote, "No parking, private property" on a piece of paper and put it under the windshield wiper. I had no idea who the driver was, but as long as they don't do it again, I'll let it go. Maybe this was just a one-time thing. But I was naive to think that. A few days later, the same car was parked in my driveway. So I put up a big sign that said, "No parking, private property, $1,000 fine." But the car kept coming back. I tried all kinds of things. I tried putting ropes around my driveway. I put up a sign that said "Warning CCTV." I tried putting up safety cones around the house. But no matter what I did, the car kept coming back. I was starting to get pissed. So one day, I took paid leave and waited at home. I'm gonna catch this person red-handed. They usually came on Thursdays. I waited and waited. Then, the red car showed up around noon. A woman in her 30s came out of the car. Wait, is she? She was a member of the PTA. I think she had a meeting or something.
Hold on! You can't just park there! Move your car! Now!
I jumped out of the house. She looked pretty surprised.
It's only for a little bit. Come on.
Seriously? She's not even gonna apologize?
There's no place to park around here. What am I supposed to do?
That's not my problem. This is private property. What's wrong with you?
I have no choice. The parking at school is always full, so...
I don't care!
I just wanted to yell at her. Just don't do this again. You understand?
What's your problem? Wait, I know who you are. You're the baseball coach.
She started yelling.
You guys get to play baseball because of us. Don't forget that. Stop complaining.
Then she started walking towards the school. Alright, I tried talking to her. Now we do things my way. A few weeks later, I took paid leave again and waited at home. The woman came and parked in my driveway like always. I stepped out of the house with a bat and a bucket full of baseballs. A few hours later, the woman came back.
Ah!
She started screaming. I don't blame her. There were baseballs all over the windshield. I jammed them in every single window.
What's wrong with you?
What? This is my house. This is my property.
Forget this. I'm calling the cops.
Go ahead. She glared at me and called the cops.
Hello? Police? I need you to come help me right now. This man, he damaged my car. Please, come quick.
The cops arrived within minutes. 2 officers came out of the patrol car. They took a look at the car. They looked surprised at first, but then...
Ma'am, these aren't real. This is just a prank.
Huh? Prank?
They were right. These were just stickers. They looked pretty realistic though. I found these online. Pretty neat, right? So I told the cops everything that happened.
Oh, I see. First of all, you can't just park on someone else's property.
What? But look at what he did to my car.
But you were trespassing on his property, ma'am. And there's no real damage done, so...
This is ridiculous. Bring me your boss. I don't want to talk to you guys.
The woman started flipping out. Then...
Hello? What's going on here? Why are the police here? Hey, it's Wanma's mom. What's going on, coach?
Ah, the perfect timing. Some of the moms from my baseball team showed up. Every year, we hosted training camps during summer break. Today, I called a meeting with all the parents. I set the meeting on the same day so they could see what she was doing to me. So I told them everything that just happened.
What? So she was parking on your property without your permission? Who does that?
They all started talking.
No, it's not what it looks like.
She was starting to panic. Then she just drove off. She never came back after that. I'm sure she learned her lesson, but it wasn't over for her. Everyone at school found out about what she did. A few months later, she got kicked out of the PTA. Her family ended up moving out of the city. I kinda felt bad for her kid, but oh well. She did this to herself, so good riddance. My name is Wataru Ishibashi. That day, I visited my parents at their nursing home after coming home from a business trip, and was on my way home around 9 p.m. I was tired and was planning to go to bed right after taking a bath. I turned the final corner and glanced at my house at the end of the forest when...
What?
My house was gone. What is this? To be more accurate, it wasn't gone. The only thing left was the broken pieces of my home. Built over 40 years ago and made of wood, the house was crumbling apart for a while now. But now, the fence was blown away, the walls crumbled, and I couldn't even tell where the entrance to the house was. I went to ask my neighbor if they knew anything about what had happened. I say neighbor, but it takes a couple of minutes by foot to get to their home. My home was a single house dropped in the middle of nowhere. My backyard was all mountains, and my friends even called my house a deserted island on land. When I got to my neighbor, old Nagimi-san's house, I was surprised by the news I heard. Apparently, she woke up in the middle of the night because of a loud sound, and went outside to find a car running by at full speed. There were a bunch of troublemakers and car racers that liked to hang out around the mountains behind my house. Does that mean one of those guys crashed into my home? I notified the police and stayed at a hotel for the night. The next morning, I stopped by the investigation. But no matter how many days passed, I wasn't able to hear any good news from the police. There weren't many security cameras around, and they couldn't find out the car type or the license plate with the remaining junk. Then I'm going to find whoever did this on my own. According to my friend who worked at an insurance company, my property wasn't half destroyed. It was fully destroyed, which meant that I would get the full benefits. This isn't just about the money. Then, it's been a while. But you want me to call everyone up? Yeah, let's do it. The truth is that my friend and I were delinquents of a gang in our past. My friend still has familiar faces everywhere. He immediately called our old friends.
I own a convenience store now, so I can check the security cameras for you. I'll even ask the other locations to do the same.
I'll ask my car racing friend whether he's seen any car like it.
That'd be great help. Thanks, guys. About a week later, I got news from my friend working at a junkyard about a car that was brought in the day after my house was destroyed. Apparently, there was a piece of wood stuck to the car. The owner had explained that he rammed the car into his garage. I asked my friend to give me details about the owner of that car, after which I decided to pay a visit. Excuse me, Suzuki-san, I have something I wanted to talk to you about. A frightened man wearing glasses answered the door.
Oh, what is it?
Do you recognize this house?
No, I don't! It's not me!
Suddenly, a large man appeared from the back.
What? If you're trying to put the blame on us for something, it won't work.
After saying that, the two of them went back inside and closed the door. I tried calling out to them a couple of times after, but they didn't answer the door again. I think I found a culprit. I came up with a plan, and the next day, I visited the men's house with my friend, prepared this time.
You again? It's not me! I don't know anything!
If you're saying that it wasn't you, it means that you know who's guilty, doesn't it? The man shrieked in terror and tried to go back inside his home. You can't just leave. I work at an insurance company. I need to speak to someone about compensations for damage. That's when the intimidating man came out from behind again.
What do you want with my little brother?
Well, actually, my house was completely destroyed recently. It seems you brought in a car to the junkyard around the same time. So we just wanted to learn more about—
Whoa! You don't have any proof that we did that, do you? Go home if you don't want to get hurt!
But brother, let's stop it. We probably can't run away with this one.
You're so weak-minded. I was testing you so that we could get some toughness inside you. That's why people make fun of you.
Wait. Did they ram their car into my house for that reason? According to what the younger brother said, his older brother took him out of the house on a drive that night because he couldn't stand his sibling being socially withdrawn. His older brother was the one driving at first, but he was eventually forced to get behind the wheel.
Step on it! You gotta be bold!
And his brother had stepped on the gas pedal from the passenger seat. As a result, they rammed their car into my house.
My brother said we don't have to worry about it because the house is abandoned.
It's true that it looks like an abandoned home from the outside, but it hurts to be told that straight up. Now that we had the details, all we had to do was inform the police. But that was when the older brother got angry.
You're going to involve the police just for destroying that junk? Come on, insurance guy. The insurance company will pay for things, right? What's the big deal if your house is going to be built back the way you want it?
His words struck a final nerve with me. Alright, I wasn't going to get revenge if you guys felt sorry about what you did, but the two of them probably sensed something was wrong as they watched me wink outside. They looked around nervously. Suddenly, a group of gang members in their cars turned on the headlights and surrounded the house.
You guys, let's do this. Ready? Set?
The motorcycles and customized cars started revving their engines. Hey, someone even brought in a huge truck. The vehicles moved closer according to my command, and the brothers turned pale.
Please, stop this! We'll apologize! Please don't break our home!
You didn't think I'd actually do it, right, stupid?
I was wrong. I'm sorry.
Whoa, let's let the police handle it from here. We had called the police beforehand, and when they arrived, the brothers were taken to the station. If you're wondering what happened to the house after that, the next month, an excavator was sent to my house and cleared the land. I sold the property and decided to move to the city. My parents didn't have enough strength to be able to live in this inconvenient location alone, and so they told me that I could do whatever I wanted with the house. I made the brothers pay for all the necessary costs. According to my friend in the insurance company, the offender needed to be charged with liability for damages. Since I was using property damage insurance, I didn't need to go to the fire insurance company. Dude, were you helping me find out who damaged my house so that your company wouldn't have to use money on me? Who knows? Personally, everything turned out well. I was able to clear the old home that I needed to get rid of for free, rent an apartment near my parents' nursing home, and move closer to my workplace. I was shocked out of my mind when I got home and saw my house destroyed. But either way, thanks to everyone's help, everything was resolved. This is the benefit of having a group of troublemaking friends.
My name is Mika, and I'm a 5th grade student. Last week, a new student became a part of our classroom. Her name was Elisa-chan, and she had just moved back home from Germany. Everyone was captivated by the stories that Elisa-chan told. But the one problem was that she was a bit harsh. What are you doing? It's not your turn to throw the trash, is it? It's okay. I like throwing out the trash. What are you saying? If you don't want to do it, you should say so. People won't know what you're thinking if you don't say it. There were times that she would be straight up harsh to timid girls and make them cry. There were many students that didn't like being around Elisa-chan. One day, it's my first time seeing that girl. The girl that came into our classroom was my childhood friend Koto-chan. Oh, that's Koto-chan. She was sick and couldn't come to school last week. Doesn't her hand look a little weird? Koto-chan doesn't have limbs below the elbow since birth. That's why she has a prosthetic arm. I ran up to Koto-chan, telling her that I was glad she got better, when suddenly Elisa-chan said something surprising. Hey, what is that arm? Are you a broken doll? Your arm looks so worn out it doesn't even move. The entire classroom went silent. It was true that Koto-chan's prosthetic arm was worn out from overuse. The reason for that was also because Koto-chan's family wasn't very wealthy, so they couldn't afford to get her arm fixed often. Everyone knew about her situation, so no one brought anything about her arm up. The bell rang at that exact moment, so everyone sat down in their seats. But when I looked over to Koto-chan, she looked like she was about to cry. You're so rude! Why did you talk to Koto-chan like that? I just said what I was thinking. Is that bad? During break, I brought Elisa-chan to the field and lectured her. But it seemed like she didn't feel the least bit guilty about what she had said earlier. Koto-chan looked like she was super hurt. She was. If the bell hadn't rung, I just wanted to ask why she didn't get a new prosthetic hand. Did you know that there are even prosthetics that move according to will? Huh? I never knew that. Apparently, back in Germany, there were many people that had prosthetic arms that moved, unlike Koto-chan's own, which was immobile. She thought it was strange that Koto-chan was using a prosthetic only as an accessory, when there were others that were more advanced and useful. But isn't a motorized prosthetic arm expensive? My mom said Koto-chan's family's probably having a hard time with money, since they don't have a dad. Oh, really? I probably shouldn't mention the motorized prosthetic arm then. When Elisa-chan returned to the classroom, she immediately apologized to Koto-chan for speaking so rudely earlier, and the two of them made up. Thank goodness that they were able to resolve the awkwardness between them. That's what I thought. But the week after, another incident occurred. It wasn't a bad incident, though. Right after art class, Elisa-chan called me over to her by pulling on my shirt sleeve.
Koro-chan's really good at drawing.
Yeah, she's been amazing at it since elementary. She's won several awards for her artwork, too.
If she can draw like that with one arm, can you imagine what she could do with both hands? I want to see more of Koro-chan's drawings. I'd love to see the artwork she can create with both hands. I'm thinking about giving her a motorized prosthetic arm as a present.
What? I was shocked by her sudden news, but Elisa-chan seemed to be serious. And the next day, she brought handouts that she had printed out to school. A motorized prosthetic arm is known as a myoelectric prosthetic, and it apparently wasn't made much in Japan.
Apparently, you can receive aids or a grant for using the prosthetic, but in order to use it, you need to get training for it. The problem is that there's no grant for the training prosthetic, and it costs around $15,000.
That expensive?
I was going to give it to her as a present with my own savings, but I still need $9,000.
Elisa-chan, you have $6,000 saved up? I could tell that she came from a wealthy family by the way she dressed, but I never would have thought that an elementary schooler would own that much money. Then, what about donations?
Donations? That sounds like a good idea. Let's do it!
That's how we plan to collect money so we could surprise Koro-chan with a gift. After I talked to my mom about it, she spoke with a couple of the other parents. One of the moms who was knowledgeable about collecting money started a donation page for us online. We also did our best by selling things we didn't need or helping out our grandmother so that we could get allowances. 3 months later, we were able to raise $20,000. That's amazing! We did it!
Now we can see Koro-chan put everything she has into her drawings.
Let's buy her a prosthetic hand and give it to her. We were going to proceed with the plan, but our mom suggested that it would be better to take her to a company that could create her hand so she could get one that fits better for her. So that's what we decided to do. Where are we going?
Somewhere amazing? You're gonna be so surprised.
Elisa-chan rented a small bus for us, and we headed to a company that could make Koro-chan her prosthetic arm. The other students and moms who helped donate money were also on the bus. We told Koro-chan we were going on a picnic, so she doesn't have any clue as to what we have planned for her. Koro-chan's mother sat next to her with a smile. Apparently, our moms had asked Koro-chan's mom for permission to give her daughter the present when we started collecting money. That's why she already knew where we were headed. The bus stopped in front of a small company. Koro-chan looked confused. But when we were invited into the building, her eyes sparkled with interest from what she saw. Wow, is this a motorized prosthetic arm? Wait, did you guys do this for me? When Koro-chan turned around to face us, we all answered her with a huge smile.
Elisa-chan started a donation to raise money for you, Koro-chan. I was amazed when I saw your artwork, so that's why I wanted to see you draw with both your hands.
Thank you. I'm so happy. When I get my movable prosthetic, the first thing I'm going to draw is a self-portrait of you.
You don't need to do that. You should draw something like nature or even animals.
Nope. I'm gonna draw you, Elisa-chan. I pinky promise. Pinky promise. You're going to be the first thing I draw. Elisa-chan looked down after having her hands held tightly. It was funny to see Elisa-chan blushing. After that, Koro-chan was busy getting measurements and borrowing a motorized prosthetic arm for training. She was busy for a long time, but it didn't seem like she was tired at all. She had a huge smile on her face the entire time, so everyone happily thought that all of their hard work was worth it. A lot of practice was needed to be able to use a motorized prosthetic properly. Koro-chan needed to go to training a couple of times a month. There weren't any medical centers to practice in Japan, and the closest location was far from where we lived. When Koro-chan's mom was busy, Elisa-chan had her driver take the two of them to practice. Since Elisa-chan joined Koro-chan for her practices, the two of them immediately became close friends. Elisa-chan, thank you so much for everything. Thank you, everyone, too. I completed my drawing like I promised. After successfully completing her training and getting her own movable prosthetic, the first thing that Koro-chan drew was Elisa-chan's face. The completed drawing included the smiling faces of me, our classmates, and our moms. It's amazing! I knew that my judgment was correct. Elisa-chan, come on! If you're happy, just say that you are. When I poked Elisa-chan, who looked like she was so moved she was about to cry, she started blushing. She usually acted like an adult, but seeing her like this, I was reassured that she was just an elementary schooler like all of us. Koro-chan, with a big and happy smile, please continue to draw the art that we all love. Thank you, everyone. I'm so happy. All of us are going to always be here, supporting you.
My name is Ami Tominaga. I graduated college, and I've been working in the IT industry ever since. I'm 34. To be honest, I want to get married as fast as I can. But I don't want to marry just anybody. I don't want him to be an idiot or a jerk. My story starts here. I met Yutaka when I had just turned 30. We met at a group blind date. He was 5 years younger than me and was a part-time worker. I was feeling a little uncertain about that, but we hit it off right away.
I don't care about having an age difference. Come on, be my girlfriend.
He was sweet, and I got swept away. He was fun to be with, and he always made sure to keep in touch with me. The beginning of our relationship was really fun. I was happy to go anywhere every time he asked me to go see him, whether day or night. I even taught him about some programming because he said he wanted to learn some skills he could use in the future. I didn't mind the time and money spent on teaching him. I figured it would help us out in the future. 3 years went by, and not a word of marriage was brought up. Then I started to notice things when we started to refrain from eating out to save money. Hey, Yutaka, stop it, please! Whenever Yutaka got drunk, he would start to get very physical and would throw things.
I told you not to talk about work. You look down on me because I'm a part-time worker. I'm sick of it, okay?
When have I looked down on you? Please, just stop it! Plates were thrown against the wall and they shattered to pieces. This became a habit, so I was actually kind of relieved when Yutaka told me he wanted to break up with me to be with someone else. You want to date Moe?
Yeah, sorry. We've grown quite close.
Moe was my junior at work. I had noticed they were both acting suspicious around me, ever since we had gone out for some drinks together. Okay, it's fine. I hope you have a good life. I had been feeling quite worried about not being married at my age, but I didn't care anymore. He was too dependent on me. I couldn't stand the thought of taking care of him for the rest of my life. In the end, I was feeling relieved and refreshed that our relationship had ended. 6 months had passed since then, and work has become my boyfriend. I started working from home, due to the new virus that was affecting the world. We had online meetings every day.
Is everybody here? Let's get on with it then.
Our online meetings were mostly with the same people, and Moe Maruyama was a member of the team. Moe was 12 years younger than me. She's many things I'm not. Young, beautiful, well-educated, and has excellent communication skills. She's also bold-faced, though she hides it by acting innocent. She knows Yutaka and I used to date, but she'll talk about how much she likes him even if I'm nearby. They've been dating for 6 months now. I sometimes wonder how serious their relationship is becoming. A few minutes into the meeting, I noticed something weird. Huh? There was something strange going on in Moe's screen. Her mouth was moving very rapidly, like she was trying to say something, but I couldn't hear anything because her sound was off. The others also noticed, and the meeting leader opened his mouth.
Hey, Moe, what's wrong with your sound?
Oh, what? I'm sorry, I didn't notice. That's weird.
Ah, I can hear you now. Maybe there was a problem with your connection.
The same thing kept happening. Her sound would turn off for a while and come back on. Suddenly, there was a big sound, kind of like glass breaking. It came from Moe's screen and everybody jumped in surprise.
Whoa, what was that?
I'm sorry, I think my cat broke something.
Oh, I didn't know you had a cat. I love cats. Can you show us?
Well, it's really cranky right now. I don't think it'll listen to what I say.
Her dry laughter couldn't cover up the loud thump that came right after. It sounded like something heavy hit the floor. Could this be? I kept watching Moe's mouth to figure out what she was trying to say. I was horrified when I finally realized what she was saying.
I need help now. Please call police immediately.
Oh my gosh! Please excuse me. I'll be right back. You can go on with the meeting. I rushed out of my house, leaving the meeting in a hurry. Taxi! I knew Moe's address because she had told me before. It would only take 10 minutes by car, so I rushed to get a cab. I arrived at Moe's apartment. I rang the bell several times because I was afraid for her safety. Moe! Moe! Are you okay? I could sense someone on the other side of the door, but there was no answer. I tried turning the doorknob, and luckily it wasn't locked. Rushing into the living room, I was shocked at what I saw. Even though it was during the day, Yutaka was red-faced and drunk, sitting in the middle of a very messy living room. I knew it!
What do you want, Ami? Why are you here?
Ami, thank God!
Moe cried out as she grabbed onto me.
I was so scared. He started to freak out and he was yelling at me about how I care too much about him not working.
So he hasn't changed. He's still a pathetic drunk with a bad temper. I'm sorry I didn't tell you about it before. Now you've seen his true colors. He becomes a jerk when he gets drunk.
Hey! Who you calling a jerk, huh?
Yutaka lost it again and threw a tissue box towards us. Stop it! Calm down!
Shut up!
Stop with the tantrum!
Ah!
Yutaka wasn't listening to any of my words. He started grabbing anything he could find just to throw them. He was destroying everything. Suddenly, someone barged into the room.
Hold him down! Hey, you! Cut it out!
Somebody barged into the room. It was the police. I had called the police while I was on the cab, and they had finally arrived. Yutaka fought as hard as he could, but he was drunk. There was no way he could fight off two strong policemen.
Damn it!
He was easily captured and taken away by the police. I felt like I just survived a typhoon. You okay? You're not hurt, are you?
No, I'm fine. Thank you so much for coming here. Thank God you got my message during the meeting.
Yeah, but I only noticed because I had been putting up with his drunk tantrums back when we were dating. Moe's room was a mess, so I stayed for a bit to help her clean it up. After I saw she had calmed down a little, I started to tell her about Yutaka. He can't help but feel inferior when work comes up, since he doesn't have a full-time job. Every time a work-related topic comes up when he's drunk, he'll get very emotional and physical. I thought he would never show that side of himself since he adored Moe so much. And I really shouldn't have. But you know, maybe somewhere in my heart, I was feeling really jealous of you. I apologize for that.
No, please don't apologize. You're the one who protected me. You're my savior.
Moe was still crying, but her smile was bright as she comforted me. I know it was a scary experience for you today, but if you still like him, maybe you can find a way to forgive and forget.
No way. I don't have the time to deal with that.
Yeah, I agree.
I should ask for compensation. He broke everything, and he scared the life out of me too.
Afterwards, Yutaka was found guilty for assault and destruction of property against us.
Really?
Moe and I decided to be strict with him, and we hoped that his punishment would be a good life lesson for him. His lawyer asked us for an amicable settlement, but we firmly said no. Yutaka was sent to prison with a final verdict of 2 years. I think it's a pretty good deal considering what he had done to both of us.
No way!
Moe and I ended up becoming very close friends, and we would go on blind dates together. I got advice on what to wear and how to do my makeup from her. Thanks to her, more guys started to show interest in me. I have plans with one of the men tonight. He's 42 and owns his own business, and he doesn't seem to care that I'm a little older than other girls. I really feel that reliable, independent man are really the way to go. I'm having a blast now.
I'm Yu Takemoto. I'm 25. After graduating from college, I helped out my dad with his business. But a few months ago, I quit. Don't ask me why. Today, I work as a security guard at some small company in the city. Most of the time, I just stand near construction sites waving at traffic. Work wasn't that hard, but there was one thing that was bothering me.
Hey, Takemoto! Stop ignoring me, useless.
Yeah, speak up. I can barely hear you.
Some of my older colleagues were really annoying.
You're so useless, man. I'll show you how to do things around here.
Yeah, come grab a beer with us after work. That's a direct order.
I hated drinking with them. All they did was brag about themselves. I hated my life. Every day, I got yelled at by middle-aged guys. It was so annoying. Am I happy with the way things are now? Hell no. But it just didn't feel like doing anything anymore. But I wasn't always like this. Things started to fall apart a few months ago. My dad, he did martial arts. He was pretty famous actually. I was pretty small as a kid, but I always looked up at him. But about 6 months ago, he passed away. Our neighborhood was hit with a rainstorm. He spent days helping out the neighbors. But when he was trying to rescue someone, he drowned to death. He was tough, but he didn't stand a chance against Mother Nature. I looked for him for weeks, but all I found was his car. It was totaled and empty. After that, I just stopped caring about everything. I looked up at him, but now he was gone. I didn't feel like doing anything anymore. Screw it all. Family, work, future. I don't care anymore. This is my life now.
Listen up. It's all about keeping calm. As security guards, we...
Hey, you listening? Snap out of it, Takemoto.
My drunk colleagues started hitting me, but I just ignored them. But then, something happened.
Stop! Let me go!
Some scary-looking guys were harassing this woman. One of my colleagues tried to step up.
Let her go, now!
What did you say?
They always told me to be tough, so I guess they couldn't just walk away. But they should have. I think these guys were with the Yakuza.
You wanna be heroes, huh? Alright, bring it.
Stop! No violence!
Then, as soon as the men walked over to my colleagues, the woman ran towards me.
Run! Come on!
Hey, wait up! Counter!
She grabbed me and started running. I had no idea what was going on. We jumped into a cab. She said she wanted to stay at my place for a while, so I brought her home. You tried to join the volunteer group?
Yeah, but they said I couldn't go and we got into a fight.
Kaoru was one of the leader's girlfriend. Those guys were his minions. Volunteer. That word reminded me of my dad in his car. But that place is dangerous. I'd probably say the same thing if you were family. Why do you want to go anyways?
To pay back a debt, I guess.
Huh? She told me that her parents abandoned her as a child. She grew up in a foster home, and that foster home was in the disaster-stricken area.
I called. They said not to worry, but I just want to help.
That's really nice of you. Oh, stop it, she said. Then I started thinking, why did my dad go through all that trouble to save others? They were total strangers. The next morning, I woke up to the sound of someone banging on my door.
We know you're in there. Open up, Counter!
I guess my colleagues told them my address or something. I opened the door. I stopped them before they said anything. It's early. I don't want to bother my neighbors. Let's go somewhere else. I'll bring her out.
Just hand her over to us. Do that and we won't hurt you.
Yeah, we got orders to bring her back ASAP.
You listening? Huh?
I get it. They're just worried about her.
Stop ignoring us. You wanna get hurt? Huh?
But she said she wanted to help, and there's nothing wrong with that. When Dad left to help all those people, maybe I should have stopped him too. Why let him risk his life for complete strangers? Martial arts is a form of self-defense, but he failed to protect himself. Does that make him weak? He was stronger than anyone I knew. He was the most kind person ever, and he just disappeared. Just like that. What is real strength anyways?
Wow!
Then, I heard Kaoru clapping. The Yakuza guys were all knocked out. I did it again. My dad trained me well. My body just moved on its own.
You're so strong! I had no idea! You're so skinny!
I'm not strong. This is nothing. Then, I told her about my dad. How he died trying to save others. I can't stop thinking about it. He knew the risks, so why did he go, you know?
Because he had real strength,
said Kaoru. What do you mean?
Being tough and strong is one thing, but we all die at some point. So real strength isn't about being tough. It's about being able to help and protect others in need.
Real strength. I see.
And that's exactly what you did just now.
Me?
Yeah, you protected me from these assholes.
Then, she looked up at the sky and yelled.
Thank you, Yu's dad! Your son just saved my ass!
She was so loud. I didn't know what to say to her. Then she started laughing at me. Then I started laughing too. I haven't laughed like this in a while. After that, I quit my job as a security guard. I'm gonna follow my dad's footsteps and become a professional in martial arts. Kaoru told me to live my life, and that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I hope someday I can grow up to be just like my dad, a man with real strength. Wish me luck!